Welcome back to the Living Room Chat podcast. Me, Matt, him, Ryan. Today, joined with, are we going to call you a special guest?
Yeah, I'm going to call you a special guest because obviously we're the host and we've got a guest on. Shall I do the intro because I know him relatively well?
Are you talking about George or me?
Two special guests.
Yeah.
Two special guests. Why are you looking like that, Doc? So, I'd like to introduce the listeners and welcome to the podcast to my wife, life partner, business partner, an all-round lovely person, the amazing Lauren Bloomfield.
Hey.
Woo!
Hey.
There you go.
Thanks
Welcome.
for joining us, Lauren.
Welcome.
So I've been harping on to Lauren about the podcast. I'm doing a pod with Matt, doing a pod, and she's like, "Oh, fuck's sake, why are you even talking about it? Who cares about podcasts?"
Have you actually listened to it? Any episodes, truthfully?
Ryan has made me listen to chunks, but I haven't sat down and
She
listened.
sees the reels,
Yeah, I see the reels.
but the moment I said to her, "Do you want to come on the podcast?" She was like, "Fuck yeah!"
Yeah.
Like, get me involved.
That definitely sounds like something I would do.
It was. You were well excited.
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing a pod Friday. I can't wait for Friday. We're doing a pod Friday.
Yeah.
Podcast Fridays, back again. And also, I love that George is up joining us as well. When we've recorded him before, he's out of shot.
Yeah, absolutely. And he'll be there the whole time. But
He keeps screwing at me, like, who's this guy?
yeah, he loves everyone.
Anyway, let's talk agency. I think we want to keep these chats a bit more agency related because we go off on massive tangents.
We do. But agency is what we know. But I think the deep dive into maybe a little bit more of the background of a estate agency, the things you don't see in the press, that you won't see on social media, just talk about our gripes with other estate agents, talk about issues with clients, because there's a lot of crap that goes on behind the scenes that people don't see.
Yeah, I feel like it's just our way of venting about annoying things we have.
Yeah. So,
Honestly.
we'll start on the positive thing. But Matt, what's really got you annoyed this week?
Got me annoyed.
Yeah.
I've had a good week. I haven't been very annoyed this week, which is unusual for me.
It is not. Yeah.
Very strange. I've had a good week. I've got sales agreed. The thing that has been annoying me, I suppose, is people not keeping their word.
Turning for viewings
Oh,
or
like
just selling.
a seller asked me yesterday. It was like, I've agreed a brilliant offer for him. Everything's going really well, and he just said, "Oh, can we still do showings on the house just in case?"
Just in case.
Yeah, no, you can't do that. Well, you can, but that's not really.
Like, I didn't even know what are the legalities around that, because I was like, morally, I can't be progressing a sale, putting the phone down, and then going on.
But that's the exact point. And morally, you can't. But legalities, we all know, until you exchange contracts, nothing's legally binding.
Yeah.
It's just really frowned upon. Like, I'd never do that. It's always part of the sale. Unless the only time you'd ever leave a house on the market is if you really didn't trust the buyer. Then why the fuck are you wrapping up to them anyway?
Yeah.
You know
From
what I mean?
a buyer's perspective, something that I would do, and we have done in the past, is after you've made an offer and everything's been agreed, you then get one of your friends to call up and try and book a viewing to see what the agent says.
Yeah. Nice.
Top tip.
Because that
Nice.
agents are stupid. They don't put two and two together, and they assume buyers are stupid as well, but they're not.
I don't know about you, but I've had a few. We've had a few viewing requests come through for houses that were sold months ago, requesting to view it.
Yeah, I've had a couple.
Like, and not just one, like 4 or 5 different properties, like coming through from Rightmove, from Zoopla, from our own CRM, saying keen to view, and I'm like, cool, this house sold 4 months ago, bro. It's about to exchange.
I guess if someone's been dealing with a bit of a sharky agent, though, they just think that's the norm.
Maybe people are thick and they don't look properly. You know, when you're on Rightmove and you have that box that says letter
include sold.
Yeah, maybe they just click that, but then they don't.
Maybe they're blind and can't see
attention.
them fucking great big green triangle that says sold in the corner.
But people don't look, do they? They don't read stuff. It is the pictures.
Yeah. It's a good point.
Or if they're desperate, they just.
So people lying to you though.
Yeah,
and letting you down.
Not lying, just people being sneaky. I've had a few. I've had 1 sale or 2 sales fall apart for normal reasons that sales fall apart, but it's just frustrating. One chain I'm in is funny. A new build developer at the top of the chain has delayed things, and they delayed things, so my buyer at the bottom of the chain pulled out.
Right.
Because it was going to be like 3 months later. And so then they turned around to me and goes, "Oh, you've got 2 weeks to resell it." It's like what?
Idiots.
I just pull out something out my magic hat.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Here's a buyer I was preparing earlier.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that's when, if you had done sneaky viewings, you would have a backlog of people. So.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point, isn't it? Yeah. It's just developers. When you got involved with a chain with a developer, it's like it's the most annoying thing
It's
ever.
painful.
It is, because they just like Susan calls you up from the new homes team saying,
It's always a Susan, isn't it?
or Sandra
Or
or Kelly. They're all the same, very stereotypical, but they're all the same. They're the same.
Always women.
Always
women.
Always got a
Always
really annoying squeaky voice.
Always ex-air hostess or something.
There you go. And they say,
you call them air hostesses
and they say,
air vans.
but the thing is, and I'm not being derogatory to them, but they have their process that they understand, and it's almost like they've never sold or bought a house on the open market. They just don't understand the policy. They're like, right, we need to exchange this next week. I'm like, Karen, we haven't even got fucking searches back yet.
Yeah.
Okay, but if they're back Friday, why can't we exchange next week? Because they need to raise inquiries. Okay, well, they can be dealt with instantly. Are they all answered already? No, because they haven't raised them yet. And then you got it's going to be probably 6 weeks, or we need to exchange next week. It's not going to happen, and they don't. And they call you on Monday. We're exchanging this week. No, Karen. Another Karen. I spoke to your other colleague, Karen, saying
Karen with a C.
Karen with a C, or Karina.
That's the classic. Can we exchange and complete on the same day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
A chain of 7.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
no.
Yeah, everyone's going to commit to removal. I don't know why I put my phone up there, because audio listeners, I've made a phone signal.
Also,
Why'd you do that?
it should be that.
Yeah, it should be speaker.
I bet if we asked Milo, it would be
Yeah, FaceTime.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, new homes annoying people.
Yeah,
Annoying when they're
I
involved
don't
in
know
it.
if it's that they just don't give a shit about the process for resale homes, or just I imagine the management for new build developers are just super
On it,
On
chasing them. It's not that they don't understand. It's not that they don't understand things. They just don't think they know their way, and it doesn't line up with their expectations. And if they're getting ploughed, literally, by the manager.
Oh my god! It's turned into such a sexist conversation.
Yeah, let's take it back. That's why you're involved
See,
in
I
the
do that
podcast.
without even realising.
Yeah.
I'm just.
Sorry, I meant to say ploughed by emails. Let's change the word ploughed. They're being bombarded with emails.
Innocently bombarded.
Innocently, well, not innocently, because because there's 10 managers above them chasing each other. Anyway,
Yeah. So anyway, that's just another.
Lauren, I heard, because you told me, that you had a bit of a gripe or a situation that you found that you were aware of this week, and it's all to do with estate agents blackmailing innocent people. I know it's a very clickbait title, but that's generally what's happened. So would you tell us a little bit about that?
And the example I'm going to give is a real life example, but we've had it, I reckon, we've been doing this for a year, and I reckon we've had at least 10 of these situations, and I just don't understand how it's still happening. So we had somebody that I know went to view a property with an agent, sort of on a whim, because it was their dream property, it came up, so they thought, we might as well go see it. Put in an offer was accepted, but only on the condition that they put their house on the market with that agent. Also, that agent refused to stop other viewings until they've sold their home.
So it's kind of like
they're now stuck in an agreement because they were sort of bent over a barrel for their dream property.
when they're probably not going to get their dream property.
I don't think they're going to get that dream property, because why would an estate agent, if they want to make it work, they'd make it work, but they're not. They're still doing viewings, they're still taking offers.
So the person, they've agreed to buy the house in principle, but meanwhile the agent has stuck them into a long contract
To sell their home.
Yeah.
Probably with the intention, I honestly believe they don't have any intention of giving them the property.
No.
But now they've got them in a contract, so
Yeah. And the
win-win.
Agent's happy either way. Cause
Exactly.
Got a new house on the market, they'll probably find somewhere else. And unfortunately, and you know, I'm happy to say this, I did exactly the same on the high street. That is what we did. You get a house on the market, we were told not to book proceedable buyers in for 2 weeks. You always book locals in that had houses to sell, to try and get 3 or 4 properties on the market off the back of it.
And also to agree to take someone's house on the market when, one, you haven't seen it, you don't know where it is, you don't know what it is, so why would you agree?
Yeah.
But obviously from their point of view, like, I think we've probably done a similar situation, because if you find your dream home and the person that's standing in your way saying you need to do XYZ, then you're probably going to do XYZ.
Yeah.
Also, the person that is in the situation obviously is very intelligent and read through the contract and flagged that the agency made it clear to them that they had to pay a penalty of £600 if they took their property off the market with them, which I didn't think was legal.
No, so there is things drawn up into contracts where they can cover reasonable marketing costs.
£600?
Yeah. I mean, for a fucking few photos on an iPhone.
They don't do videos, they don't do drone. All they do is a guy with a suitcase going round taking rubbish pictures and sticking them on Rightmove. That's all they do.
Yeah.
For 600
For
quid.
600 quid.
It's just, and it's stuff like this that just gives the industry a bad name.
It does.
That's why people don't like estate agents, because they're slimy, con artisty, is that a word? Sort of people that just manipulate situations for their own benefit. And that's one of the main reasons, and I'm sure you can vouch for this as well, why leaving the high street, running our own businesses how we want to run them, which is better for the client, makes our lives easier, and we stick by our morals. Like, we wouldn't do people over like that.
It's easier to be honest and have morals than what they're doing. I remember working in an office and you have so many things going on, almost like so many lies, and you're thinking, oh, well, what did I say to that person? And then I've got to continue it, and then it's hard work.
How would you, interesting to hear your point on this, how would you have dealt with that situation? So let's say we've got a house on the market, we've got loads of viewings, client approaches us, wants to buy it, but hasn't sold. What would you do in that scenario?
It's a shame, because I think people generally are scared to get their house sold before viewing, because they don't, because they're scared. They're like,
catch-22, isn't it?
We sell our house and we don't find anything. But it's about having an honest conversation with them, and obviously you just sort of make it clear to them that their house has to go on the market, but you don't say it has to go on with us. Obviously, if they want to give us a shot to go round and go through everything, then great. Yeah. But it's not our decision who they go with.
So I think the only problem with the situation you've highlighted is the long contract. Because if there's not a long contract, then it's like
irrelevant, isn't
give
it?
Give it a go.
Yeah, because if they need to sell a house anyway to buy their dream house, whether they do it with that agent or another agent, they need to sell it one way or the other.
Yeah.
It's just by locking them in to 12 or 16 weeks.
I think that's how they felt. I think it was more the process of that was the only option they gave them.
They'd manipulated it.
Yeah, and it made them feel like, well, we're going to have to do this.
Yeah. And you can't blame them for doing it, and I totally respect their decision.
I think anyone would do the same. I think we would do the same.
It's an industry-wide problem where that's the whole philosophy of estate agents. It's all targets over people.
You can just imagine that guy that did that viewing and had that conversation would have gone back to the office and been like, guess what I've just done?
Yeah.
On the board.
High fives.
Yeah. Ring that bell.
Mate, that is great estate agency, Steve. Well done, mate. That's what his manager Gary said to him.
Wearing a slimline suit.
Yeah.
Full of links.
Shit tie.
Yeah,
driving a 1 Series BMW.
You loved a jazzy tie though.
I did fucking love a jazzy tie. But I couldn't even tell you how to do a tie anymore. I feel, different.
You can wear one of Mila's, the ones with the elastic on that she wears to school.
There you go. It'd be a bit short. A bit of waist. Mate, remember my little waistcoat number? I look bang.
A little busted tie.
I never.
Like when you flip it round.
Yeah. I always
used to do it the other way round, so you had the thin bit.
Yeah. I had this dream of being on the high street. I wanted one of those double-breasted suits. Never got one.
With a chain?
No, not the chain. Just the double-breasted with the 2 buttons, with a waistcoat and thing.
Cigar.
I look sick, man.
You did have some jazzy suits. Do you remember your
burgundy
one?
Yeah, remember that.
And they were all skinny.
All skinny.
Yeah.
I went to this. I never used to wear suit jackets. I'd always wear a Barber.
Well, why didn't you wear suit jackets? Because the colour difference.
Yeah, do you ever have that with cheaper suits? The trousers used to fade before the jacket. Yeah. So I didn't buy jackets. I just buy 2 pairs of trousers.
Yeah.
I never wore a suit jacket ever.
I had the same suit with like 3 sizes of trousers, just as I put on so much weight.
Which one's today? We're having a fat day.
But like inflated. Yeah, those days are long gone.
There we go. I've got a little segue, because obviously can't have a podcast without a segue, because we've finished that topic on contract lengths, and that's a gripe of mine for this week that I wanted to talk about, because I also spoke to a client this week who viewed a property with us. They really, really like this property, but they're on the market. They've been on the market for 7 weeks with an estate agent. They are tied into a 20-week contract.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How long is 20 weeks?
About 5 months. Not about, it's 5 months.
That's insane.
Yeah. What they didn't know though is they also have a 4-week notice period at the end of 20 weeks. So it's actually a 24-week contract. So they're stuck with the same agent for 6 months. And they're disappointed, to say the least. So it's a twofold thing. Contract lengths, why people are doing long contracts, don't understand why it's still a thing. Like, estate agents shouldn't really be doing it.
But if they're competent enough to sell it, they shouldn't need to do it.
Absolutely. Secondly, the public need to be made aware that you do not need to sign long contracts with estate agents. You're just giving them all of the ammunition. I just don't understand why it needs to be done.
I do 30-day agreements with everyone, but I'm always keen to show the other side of their coin.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something to be said for agents doing a slightly larger contract because they are investing in the marketing?
Yeah.
So I just do 30 days because I'm like, if it goes over 30 days, I don't want to hold someone to ransom to work with me, right? Because it's only me, it's just me.
And they don't have to leave after 30 days either. It's not like
no, exactly.
After 30 days you have to renew it. No.
Yeah, no one does.
If you're confident enough in what you do,
See,
after the 30 days they're not going to want to leave anyway.
I think 30 days is too little, mate, to be honest. So we do everyone the 6-week contract with a 2-week notice. You finish on week 8, 2 months.
There's also something to be said about the difference in marketing. Turning up, this property that you're talking about, you showed me, the description is rubbish.
It's
there
dreadful.
are not spelling mistakes, but it doesn't flow.
Yeah.
They made a reference to something that was 9 miles away as local. The pictures are average, so literally, for a fact, someone's gone round, snapped a few photos, gone back to the office, and a trainee has just typed up that's not...
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's just poor
that's
service.
not investment. It's not.
One of the main issues this client's got as well is this estate agent. So this is in Tilehurst. Literally, it's just over the road actually, and they're on the market with a town centre estate agent. Now, this town centre estate agent, who will remain nameless, but let's just call them they're a bit of a chancer. Let's put it that way, okay? And they have told the client, the best way to save a house is only do block viewings on the Saturday. And I was like, cool, that's ridiculous. One, you're on a main road, so an open house on a Saturday is the stupidest idea I've ever heard. But secondly, they're lying to you, because I ran a town centre office, and I knew that if we had a house on the market in Tilehurst, we'd also do the same. Because by the time you get from your office to the car park, pay for parking, drive out of the town centre, get all the way to Tilehurst, do a viewing, go all the way back, park up, pay for parking, blah, blah, blah. That's 2.5 hours, 2 hours if you're lucky, out of your day to do one viewing. It's not time convenient for them. Yeah. So they're going, don't worry, we'll tell the client to do block viewings on a Saturday, make it sound more special for them, when really they're just trying to save their own time.
Yeah, and if a buyer can't make Saturday, they're like,
can't make it.
So they lost.
So they had a couple of weeks ago. They had 2 viewings booked on the Saturday for the block viewing.
Yeah.
Got a call at 5:15 on the Friday. So I'm sorry, one of the clients cancelled. They bought a house earlier in the week. Yeah, exactly. So first of all, they told the client that, which is the truth, clearly. But the client instantly thought, well, if they were able to do viewings during the week, why couldn't that person view mine on the Monday? Yeah. And it comes back to the same point. The estate agents being lazy.
People find their weekends that people don't necessarily want to be viewing properties at the weekend if they can do it during the week.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a family home, so they've got kids. Who wants to drag kids around? We used to take mine on a couple of years when we were buying our house. And it is the worst thing, taking kids. It is awful.
I'd rather the kids didn't come, to be honest. Little shits.
Although sometimes
and stuff.
Sometimes it's handy. I think it might be because there's 2 of us. But when we did an open house, we'd sort of manage it between us. But Brian would take the adults and I'd take the kids. But it worked,
Yeah, Lauren.
That's
and then sort of say to the kids, tell them you love the house. And they're like, I don't want to leave. No, but it does help. But kids, they can either be great on a viewing or awful. There doesn't seem to be an in-between.
I had a right little shit the other day. That's another story.
Oh.
But so anyway, estate agency practices, working for, again, it's the same scenario, working for themselves rather than for the client's best interest. And it's too many times it's happening now. I just wish, I know we advertise as much as we can on Facebook and Google and do all of our posts and everything about good agency. I just wish that all of the public could just sit in a room with us and we say, this is what I'm not saying use avocado property, I'm just saying this is what you should expect from an estate agent. And don't get me wrong, there are some fantastic high street estate agents out there.
But it's not down to the actual. It's not really down to the individual estate agents, because they're being pumped in the office. Like, so they could go out. Yeah, they could go and do an amazing job and, you know, really be invested. Get back to the office, and then the guy that works on a Saturday just
loses it all.
Yeah. You've got 5-6 people in the office. You're not going to get the same amount of investment from 6 people. It's just not going to happen when they've got a portfolio of 100 properties or whatever. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. I also think if you did sit every member of the public down and explain it to them, it's still going to take most people a couple of home moves to really understand what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you've had it before. Some people, you're explaining the model, they just don't get it.
Yeah.
And they need to go through a Purple Bricks or a Chancellor's in order to understand why this is a better way.
It is, and you feel like people do, you know, fortunately we don't lose many instructions, but the ones that do go with other estate agents, I feel like, cool, I've explained what we do. If you don't want that service, that's absolutely up to you. I'm never going to force anyone to use us, of course, can't. But what annoys me is when I'm telling someone what we do and they go, oh yeah, the other estate agent said they'll manage it on a day-to-day basis as well, they do all the viewings. I was like, but how can they? And this particular agent said they've got 35 houses on the market, 52 under offer, quite a big estate agency. He doesn't work 7 days a week. He's not going to do every single viewing for you. So he's just lied to you. Yeah. And their response is, but he told me he would do that. So all it is then a battle of wits. Who's lying? Am I being the dick saying they're lying, or is he genuinely being truthful?
The likelihood of the person coming to value a house turning up on viewings is slim to none.
Yeah.
Because his job is to go out
and list
houses. And he's got all the tools to win people over. But the people actually showing you around could range from someone working part-time to a trainee to someone that's been doing it for 50 years and just doing it for a bit of fun.
Yeah. And I think it feels like I spent so many years sat in people's living rooms telling them what they wanted to hear to get the business, and was very, very good at it. And now I'm doing the opposite and telling them exactly what the lies that I used to say and being honest with them and still getting different results. You just got to trust the process, and I'd never go back to being that lying estate agent. But it just annoys me.
Were they out and out lies, or were they half truths, like very generally?
Oh, it's you sort of like fabricating. You say a fact and then you sort of fluff it out, don't you? It's not.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. Like he may well be the point of contact that calls her every day, gives her all the feedback. May well do all the viewings. I don't know on that particular estate agency, but knowing his position in that firm and how much is going on, I don't think they can deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously a lie. Yeah. But, I mean, the thing like, we've got a database of buyers waiting. That's the one that always used to get me. It's like, well, sure you have a database, but when you say waiting, it's not like they're just sat by their phones. I'm waiting for the call. Do you know?
They don't look a right move. They're just waiting for that one estate agent.
They'll look after me.
Yeah.
Also, when I worked in an office, you have a database, but it's got thousands of people in it. Random people that have just called up, and you grab their name or number. Or I think we had companies that got names and numbers for us, whack them in the system. They could be renting. There is no.
The level of the quality and level of estate agency has significantly dropped over the last, I would say, 5 to 7 years. Since you left. Look, I'm going to blow my own trumpet here. I was a negotiator, and people will never understand this, but there's a software I use called Repeat. And on the size of my screen at the office in Bracknell, when I worked for Romans, I could fit 51 buyers on my second screen. Without having to go up or down with it.
2 screens in your office?
No, one screen, but there was a section on Repeat that had a separate screen. And you could fit 51 bars without having to have a little toggle bar at the side. So I knew every morning if I came in and there's a toggle bar on the side, someone's put an applicant in my name that I didn't know. And I would generally, if I registered a new buyer, I would then go through and I would delete a buyer or put in someone else's name, so I only ever had 51. And I would know every single one of them. And every time a new instruction come on, I would call them first, straight through. I knew my best buyers.
They were your hot buyers.
But does that...
Doesn't happen anymore.
I've never heard of anyone doing that, and I've worked in 3 or 4 offices.
Which is why I was an exceptionally talented estate agent.
Ferrari on the driveway, not that good.
Won numerous award promoted every year of my career. Like, let's not throw it out there. But that world's gone. That's a different place. That was 2009, 2010, 2011. The world is a different place now.
Yeah, I feel like people feel like they have, because of social media, they feel like they know more.
Mm.
But they don't.
and everything.
It's exactly the same.
Everything's at a touch of a button.
Yeah, so they feel like they can find out, but
I generally think this, like when I used to call my buyers and say, even just once a week, say, look, just so you know, I haven't got anything else coming on the market just yet, but we are valuing this house and that house. I'll let you know if it comes available. If I called a buyer now and say that, I'd be like, cool, why are you calling me? Can I view it now? No, it's not on the market yet. Well, why are you calling me then? It's like, they can't, they want things, and it's just us as consumers, isn't it? Like if you want a new thing for your laptop or something, you just go online and buy it instantly. You don't have to worry about researching it.
I do think the media has made it seem like there's a shortage of houses as well. It's created that urgency in people, which I don't think people necessarily need.
When you know how the market 12 or 18 months ago, you'd put a house on the market, everyone would want to see it, and the buyers would be like, we've offered on 10 properties, we haven't got any of them. How much over asking price is this going to go for? You know, and it was like, they were so caught up, and it was a frenzy, but I feel like almost the media made that worse, and now the media is doing the opposite, where it's saying everything's terrible, and the buyers are saying, rather than they've missed out on houses, they're saying, oh, well, the price is about to go down, yada yada. So it's the extremes at either level.
Media's a funny thing. We won't get into that because there's another topic, but like even just the fact that house prices went up last month, like people don't know about this. House prices increased by over 1% last month. But you look at the news today, and the first headline I saw was house prices set to drop by 10% for the remainder of this year. They've just increased by 1% in a single month. Like people are still buying properties. Catchphrase for me: if you market correctly, price correctly, you will sell in any marketplace. Yeah,
so true. There's always people looking out there.
There is. Absolutely. Well, moving swiftly on though, Matt, I know you wanted to talk about the importance of allowing estate agents to firstly do the viewings for the clients, but also negotiate offers. Why do you think that's such a big thing, and why sellers shouldn't get involved in their own house sales?
So I think it kind of continues on from our conversation a few weeks ago about online agents, when sellers can, at a touch of a button on their phone, negotiate their own offer. And I've just seen many instances of sellers just losing money by accepting an offer. From our conversation about Purple Bricks before, I had several sellers where I knew a buyer would pay more money. But before I've had a chance to get involved, they've gone on the phone and gone, oh yeah, we'll accept that. And so people quibble so much about agency fees. 1.5%, 1%, 1.25%. But if you're going to just go on your phone and just accept an offer and not really
engage or deal with it,
you can lose 5, 10, 15 grand there.
And you're quibbling over 500 quid at the start.
And it's just a reminder to buyers and sellers to look at a macro picture of the house move and what's the strategy behind the negotiation, and then are you paying an agent enough money to give a shit?
It's very, very good point.
Because now we're self-employed. If someone's going to haggle me down on my fee, and then expect the same
gold star service,
So it's exactly why I want to charge more. So I want to be able to give a shit when I'm 2, 3, 4 months into the transaction and still trying to get the best outcome.
I mean, it's a really valid point, to be fair. Really
do you find as well the houses that you do drop your fee on, or whatever it might be, are generally the worst process? The ones that everything's smooth, you charge your normal rate, and they just sail through. But the ones that haggle you at the beginning and hound you, they're the ones that cause problems. It's always the way.
The fee merchant clients that are just, all they care about is fee, and if you do succumb to that, they are always the most frustrating and time-consuming clients that you have. Always.
You have to weigh that up.
But it's hard to remember though when you're in the living room that sometimes.
Well, you do, because you're like, people say they don't like salespeople or not salesmen. Everyone's selling at all times. It's not bad to be a salesman. That's what you do, or a salesperson. Sorry, being politically correct. But you do. Your instinct kicks in, because when you're pitching for the business and you see the blood in the water and you know you're going to win it, and you have to negotiate on fee. I've changed my tact in the fact that I'm focused solely on the properties that I want, the clients I want to work with. If I feel like I can really benefit someone, like the house I've got coming on next week, it's a 3-bedroom property in a relatively good road, it's coming on a nice price and a motivated sellers, I'm happy to be a little bit more flexible on the fees there. But if it's some like shit apartment, no offence to Central Reading, but Central Reading that I can't park, and the lease is 62 years and the seller's a dick, and he wants me to reduce my fee to 1%, I'll be like, absolutely no, it's 5%. I'm not interested. Call Matt Barrell.
I'm fighting a losing battle sometimes, especially with flats. I went out to one the other evening. I'm happy to go out in an evening because it's convenient for people. A flat which wasn't worth what the owner wanted it to be. And I saw the 2 estate agency packs on the side. Oh, well, they said it's worth this and they're happy to do this fee. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm fighting a losing battle here.
Yeah, off you go then.
But you can't, at that point, you can't just say, look, I'm not the agent for you, because I don't think our businesses are in that position yet. You always still need to try and engage and give them the right advice.
You could do the, treat them mean, keep them keen. Yeah. You never know. If you're like, no, I'm sorry, they might be like, I want him.
Trouble is, I think everyone does this, you start to kind of get lured in, or maybe it's worth that. Yeah. Maybe, am I missing something?
And you do, and you fall into that trap thinking, it only takes one buy, it might just sell.
Yeah, and fortunately with this one I didn't, and now it's sat on the market with someone else. But
you never know, because they'll come back round and
just
after 24 weeks the contract they've signed, they'll get it back, and it'll definitely be worth even less than what you said now.
That's what I said to him. I said, look, I understand you need more money for this, just like please don't sign a contract longer than 12 weeks.
Yeah. I've only signed 4 months. You said 12 weeks, I've signed 4 months. Cool, you do that, that's 16 weeks. I don't know why I keep doing the phone sign, I'm going to try and stop that. So.
You normally do an American accent as well.
Do you?
I do.
I've never heard that.
We do chuck it.
Go on.
Well, if you listen to the pod, you'd have
heard, no. Matt did a Chinese accent, that was really bad.
Is that
and you called out the drug dealers, and you had to blank that out in case we got stabbed.
Yeah, I did.
Because you never know who's listening. You never know that's the wonderful world of podding. You never know who's listening.
Have you spoke about your encounter when you went to the shop the other day?
My encounter at the shop the other day? Go on, I don't actually remember
Black BMW.
No, I had not talked about that, and that is not to talk about on the pod, because we're just nice people. We're local family people, we're Loz.
I'm a bit worried that George is giving everyone a bit more than...
Yeah, there you go. Well, has anyone got anything else to go through on estate agency for this week? Because I think we've been chatting for enough time now, so
that's
everyone
good
happy with that?
Chat. Yeah, as always, leave your comments for us for next week.
Absolutely. No, appreciate everyone watching, listening, liking, subscribing. Lauren, thank you for joining us. We were going to record one, weren't we? Yeah. I was going to sing, Matt was going to play guitar.
Well, Myla can now play the recorder.
Yeah,
she does a banging hot press bands.
Is there any other song for a recorder?
I got the highest you can get in a recorder.
Well, fucking hell, Loz. And on that, how was your first podcast experience? Just while we're finishing up here.
It was great.
Yeah?
I mean, George had a good time.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us. I'm sure it won't be the last time we'll see you on the podcast. We can make you a regular edition, to be fair, couldn't we?
Oh, you could, if you like.
I think we would like that. Well, I would. Would you like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Can't really say no, really. We're setting up.
Well, otherwise I'll just be sat outside,
chatting on the... Yeah, cool. Anyway, enough of that. Thanks so much, guys, and we will see you next time on the next episode of the Living Room Chat podcast.